Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the news briefing for this Wednesday. Starting next month, there is going to be a change in our county's emergency notification system, and hopefully you won't notice a thing. You may recall last year, kind of late in the fall last year, the county did a test of a new notification system, and that system will soon be in place. And here to explain the changes and how it will both affect us and improve our emergency notification information is our colleague Justin Lin from the Department of Emergency Management, and also Daniel Gonzalez, I see, is with us, who will be doing a presentation in Spanish. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining.
Thanks, Maya. So thank you for the introduction. My name is Justin. I'm an emergency services planner with the Department of Emergency Management. And I'll go ahead and jump in, and I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. Can everyone see that? Okay. So really high level, we're going to cover Alert Monterey County, talk about what that entails, then go into the system testing on this platform and the exercise that was done, what the transition timeline looks like, and impacts on the public and how to register. And then we'll just go over some of the key features on the platform. And if there's any questions along the way, please just holler out. So just in terms of alert and warning, the Department of Emergency Management and the Department of the Emergency Communications Department, or 911, were the alerting authorities for the operational area. So all of the jurisdictions and the whole county. And it's a FEMA designation as the alert authority. We are the jurisdiction designated to alert and warn the public when there's any sort of threat, specifically natural, human-made, dangerous, or missing person. And the way we operate and the general flow is alerting authorities will, and in this example, use the FEMA IPAWS aggregator. All that means is use their technology and then send it out through different alerting pathways. In this case, for IPAWS, it's telecoms and radio and television, and it meets and reaches the public. Some of the other ways we reach the public besides IPAWS are through phone calls, SMS keywords, emails, social media, web registration, and teletypewriter, TTF, and that's for the deaf and hard of hearing. And this is all aggregated together on one physical platform. And the new platform we're testing is called Genesis Alert, and it's part of this Alert Monterey County system. And Maya did that lovely introduction, but after over a year of looking at the platform this past fall/winter, November, December, we actually did live tests. We had to get an FCC waiver, and we conducted it across the county in very distinct communities. So different types of infrastructure, population density, different hazards. And some of the things we found from the test is the performance was comparable between our current platform and the new one that we'll be using, Genesis Alert. Genesis was also able to give us additional reach by converting phones that were listed as landlines into cellular contacts and send SMS messages. The iPaws during the test, there was 4 of 4 successful tests, of WIA test alerts. We did have an initial error, and we troubleshot that, and were able to identify what the problem was with the vendor and get it solved. But 4 of the 4 tests were sent on the target days. So it was a pretty positive experience with using the system. And let me jump over. This is just another high level. Here are the types of tests we conducted: reverse 911, IPAWS, wireless emergency alerts to cell phones, and SMS direct texting. So here's what the public and many of our partners are really interested in. We started the eval in 2022. We completed our exercise in December 7th, and we've been getting the platform ready, not only during the exercise, but throughout the eval in 2022. And we're going to cut over, and all that means is we will start doing alert and warning to the public through the new system on March 7th. Through April 7th, our partners will be training and transitioning, and that means internal communications the platform offers for coordination as well as any direct outreach and engagement they do through the platform. And on April 7th, we plan on phasing out the old platform, Everbridge, when the contract is canceled. I'm just going to pause really quick. Are there any questions?
Yeah, this would be a good time to ask. I don't have any questions in chat. Does anyone have a question that they'd like to ask directly?
Okay, I'll just keep driving through then.
And
So
we'll pause again. We'll pause again for more
yeah,
questions after the next.
absolutely. So really quick, for the public, what does the interface and registration look like? So you won't have to re-register if you're already registered. All of our contacts are rolling over. What this means, though, if you want to access the new system, once it goes public on March 8th, the existing web page you've been using, Alert Monterey County, will direct you to it. And we're timing it with that so that it doesn't get confusing on who's on what system. But if you are previously enrolled and you haven't opted out of the original system, it's going to roll over. And you can check this by going on March 8th or after onto the new website through the same webpage header address and type in your phone number or your email, however you registered, and update your information or re-register. It's just like putting in a I forgot my phone number, or excuse me, I forgot my password, and it will let you re-register. With that, we're going to pair it with a public information campaign. We just don't want to make it too confusing while there's two platforms. So while we're doing public alerting on one, we're going to wait, and on starting March 7th, we'll start a heavier engagement. Finally, where are you getting messages from? This will be provided throughout the public information campaign, but there's a new voice number. It ends in 4911. There's a new short code for texts, a new email, which has the platform's name on it, Genesis, so no reply at Genesis, and it should say Alert Monterey County. And finally, there'll be mobile phone push notifications, but those will come from your carrier. The last part, why Genesis, why now? So it has very advanced mapping capabilities. And one thing as we move towards a zone-based system, it also integrates with another product called Zonehaven. This helps integrate and improve evacuations through evacuation zones, as well as evacuation planning. This mapping feature is really exciting because it will hopefully expedite and help organize as we do evacuations during large-scale events, like when there's flooding, and we're having to watch up to 7 rivers potentially to watch as zones increase and move up and down in terms of alert status. Finally, there's a lot of back-end improvements. One of them we really like is the quick launch alerts, as well as when the public gets a message, if you call the number back, you will be able to dial up and listen to the most recent alert that was sent to your contact information. We'll be joining our neighbors, Santa Cruz and San Benito, who've already onboarded onto this platform, as well as other counties like San Diego and Riverside. I don't have any other questions. Just wanted to say I'm really excited, and we really appreciate all the support from not only our PIO team, but our jurisdictional partners as we've moved through exercises and now onboarding.
Thank you very much, Justin. This might be a good time to pause for questions on the second half of Justin's presentation before we move into Spanish. Any questions for Justin? Seeing none, Daniel, would you like to take on the Spanish presentation?
Justin, do you mind rolling back the slides to the start, and then we'll go just do it in Spanish. And I'll try to be succinct so that we can get the information out. Okay, buenos días, buenas tardes a todos. Esta presentación va a ser sobre el nuevo sistema de alerta y notificación que el Condado de Monterrey ha estado trabajando para poner en acción. A continuación, aquí tenemos la agenda. Vamos a hablar un poquito sobre qué es este sistema, quiénes tienen la autoridad dentro del Condado de Monterrey para emitir alertas, vamos a hablar un poquito sobre las pruebas que hemos hecho y los ejercicios, cuál es la línea de tiempo en términos de la transición a este nuevo sistema, qué impactos va a tener la población o los registros y el por qué escogimos esta plataforma para que sea nuestro nuevo sistema de alertas y notificaciones. Como dice aquí, ¿quiénes son las autoridades dentro del condado que pueden emitir alertas? En este caso es el Departamento de Manejo de Emergencias del Condado de Monterrey y el Departamento de Comunicaciones de Emergencia, que es como el 911, que está aquí también dentro de este sistema. A continuación, esta diapositiva indica cuáles son las alertas y cómo vienen del sistema iPOS, cuál es el sistema y cómo sigue el proceso. En este caso, por ejemplo, utilizamos los diferentes sistemas de telecomunicaciones para poder llegar las torres de celular, el radio, para poder llegar a la comunidad en general. También la otra forma en la que nosotros hacemos llegar nuestras alertas a la comunidad es a través de llamadas telefónicas, de mensajes de texto, correos electrónicos, redes sociales como Facebook y Twitter, la página de internet que nosotros tenemos. También utilizamos el sistema de teletypewriter, que es para las personas que son mudas o sordas que necesitan este sistema. Y como ya lo comenté, el sistema iPOS, que es el sistema federal de notificaciones. La línea de tiempo y transición va a ser la siguiente. Como ya lo platicamos anteriormente, a fines de noviembre iniciamos pruebas para ver si este sistema estaba funcionando adecuadamente y ver si es el sistema correcto para nosotros. Como dice aquí las fechas, tuvimos desde el 27 de noviembre hasta el 7 de diciembre, estuvimos haciendo varias pruebas y lo que nosotros pudimos ver es que los resultados son comparables al sistema de reversa 911, del sistema de llamadas que nosotros tenemos. También el sistema Génesis fue capaz de enviar alertas adicionales a celulares y a contactos que no estaban o que estaban listados bajo las personas, por ejemplo, los que tienen líneas fijas de teléfono. Y aparte de eso, también fue capaz de enviar mensaje y a través del sistema iPOS y a través del sistema inalámbrico de alertas, que es otro sistema federal que se utiliza. Entonces, fue muy positivo los resultados que tuvimos con estas pruebas, porque pudimos hacer con un solo sistema diferentes tipos de pruebas de capacidad. Y como dice aquí, estos son los tipos de alertas que hicimos. Como pueden ver aquí, el 27 de noviembre hicimos una prueba del sistema de reversa 911, al igual que del sistema de mensajes de texto. En el de 28 hicimos un reverso también 911 y ahí utilizamos el sistema WEA, que es el sistema inalámbrico de alertas y mensajes de texto, al igual que en las otras fechas utilizamos el mismo sistema. La línea de tiempo que tenemos para este sistema, como ya lo comentó Justin, empezamos desde el 2022 a hacer pruebas y hacer evaluaciones de este sistema para ver si es el mejor. No nada más este sistema, vimos otros sistemas que son recomendados por FEMA o las agencias federales y nosotros acabamos decidiéndonos por probar porque pensamos que es el mejor para nuestras necesidades. Y como ya lo comentamos, a fines del año pasado, de noviembre a diciembre, hicimos las pruebas para este sistema. Desde diciembre a febrero de este año hemos estado trabajando en tener el sistema listo. La idea es que para el 7 de marzo de este año hagamos la fecha límite para cambiarnos del sistema de Everbridge al nuevo sistema y este sistema va a empezar a correr a partir del 7 de abril porque ya termina el contrato con Everbridge y la transición será completa a este sistema a partir del 7 de abril del 2024. ¿Y cómo va el público a registrarse? ¿Cómo va el público a interactuar con esta plataforma? Lo bueno es que para este sistema la gente realmente no tiene que hacer mucho, a menos de que quieran actualizar su información. La mayoría de la gente que ya está registrada con el sistema anterior va a ser simplemente transferida al nuevo sistema. Y si la gente quiere cambiar sus perfiles o quiere actualizar su información, a partir del 8 de marzo, van a poder hacerlo a través de la página de internet y lo van a poder hacer muy sencillo. Ponen su correo electrónico o lo que hayan utilizado para registrarse y nada más le ponen que necesitan actualizar su contraseña y les va a dar acceso al nuevo sistema. Sí, también vamos a tener una campaña de información para la gente. ¿Cómo les van a llegar los mensajes? Aquí pueden ver, por ejemplo, los mensajes de voz de las alertas van a llegar a través del teléfono 831-308-4911. Los mensajes de texto van a venir a través del número que viene aquí, 65513. Los correos electrónicos van a venir de este nuevo correo electrónico que obviamente tiene el nombre del sistema que estamos utilizando, y van a recibir también a través de los correos de texto a sus celulares notificaciones que son forzadas, que les van a llegar, aunque no las hayan solicitado, les van a seguir llegando estas alertas. Okay.
Thank you both. Thank you both very much. I'm going to go ahead and stop. I'm going to stop your sharing there for just a second. Thank you both for doing this. I do have a question, and you guys can decide if you want, who wants to respond in English and who wants to respond in Spanish. But we have a question about what caused the county and DEM to switch over to Genesis. Was it to improve the alert system throughout the county? Kind of an overview of the decision to switch over. Justin, you're on mute.
Thank you. I'll field that. So originally there was a real big transition with Everbridge, and the county really took a long, hard look of, can we stay on Everbridge? So we actually went through, when they were having their transition in terms of quite a lot of internal factors, we actually went through and looked at every single FEMA alert origination software provider, and there's a long list. So from there, we weeded out quite a few, and then the state at the same time was offering free Everbridge, free, and then later free Rave, which is another vendor. And the state contract changed; it no longer became free, and so we took a look at the different options, and we ended up looking at Genesis, not only because of its really, the mapping feature is quite incredible. It's got just a lot of advancements in that area, and that ability to integrate not only with general GIS, which is geographic imaging systems, and specifically ArcGIS, which is the industry leader, and with Zonehaven, which is another product they've since acquired, which was separate at the time when we started evaluation. It made it very attractive as a platform. So that's kind of the core things that drove our decision making. But then from there, it was very extensive vetting. Does this meet our requirements? Can we test it in the field and have it be successful? And will it be a benefit for the county? So those were kind of the criteria that we use, and with some very long evaluation periods and in-depth looks at the platform.
Daniel, do you feel comfortable responding in Spanish?
Sí, obviamente la razón por la que hicimos este cambio fue para mejorar nuestro sistema. Fue un proceso arduo de estar revisando diferentes plataformas que estaban proveyendo este servicio. Obviamente vimos las que fueron referidas por FEMA. El Estado nos ofreció seguir con este sistema de Everbridge de forma gratuita, pero después de un tiempo cambió la situación y tuvimos que seguir buscando. Entonces, la razón por la que nos gustó esta plataforma es porque nos da una oportunidad de utilizar las zonas, los mapas, de ser más precisos en cómo podemos enviar las alertas. Y como ya lo comenta Justin, fue un proceso arduo de ver diferentes proveedores que dan este servicio y decidirnos por cuál era la mejor opción. Obviamente nosotros tomamos esta decisión que pensamos que fue la mejor para el sistema y para el condado.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for Daniel or Justin before we let them go? I'm not hearing any, and I'm not seeing any in chat. If anything does come in, we will forward it to you. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for being here and sharing this really great news for us.
Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you.
We are going to move on to our next topic now. It is hard to imagine that there was a time when you couldn't call 211 in Monterey County and ask a question or find something out. Monterey County's 211 service is celebrating its 15th birthday, and over those 15 years, it has been a tremendous resource and support for residents in Monterey County. And it's also been a terrific partner with the county, especially during the pandemic and our disasters. So we're very pleased to have Katy Castagna and Kalyssa King from United Way of Monterey County to help us celebrate 211 and talk about these accomplishments. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much, Maya, and it's always fun to come in with a bit of something to celebrate. I can't believe 15 years has gone by so quickly, and we prepared a quick little recap, wanted to recognize some of the hard work that got 211 in place, and then share with you some current stats. I think Kalyssa's got a couple slides to share, and again, as you introduced it, we all know what 211 is. I hope it's a household term for everyone, but there is still more education to do. So those of you on the call today, if you can help us remind folks about 211, that is, that's one of our goals. 211 started actually in Atlanta, Georgia, in 1997 as a program of United Way there. And in 2000, the Federal Communications Commission actually designated 211 as the national dialing code. And then it slowly made its way through the country. The first one in California was established in 2005. And I think we were the 4th or 5th when we started 211 here in Monterey County in 2009. So I'm sharing with you a photo from our launch. This is 15 years ago. We actually had an event at the Steinbeck Center where we launched 211. And as we all know, it can't happen without really significant partnerships. So this idea was actually locally brought to us by the county, who said we need some coordination of our resources and we need a 211 United Way. Can you help make it happen? And with that, we built a collaboration of multiple funders, many different service providers, and we were able to launch on our birthday, 211, February 11th. And we since then have celebrated the whole month as the anniversary of 211. You can move to the next slide, Kalyssa. Here's another photo from that launch, and we did some real fun events to bring this to life, because this was a whole new concept. So we partnered with MST, and we actually took the launch event into the community and went all down Salinas Valley and stopped at every city, ended up in Marina and Monterey, and really appreciated the partnership with MST and the many other collaborators to help us get the word out. We were quite successful with this partnership because even the first year, we had over 12,000 calls to the 211 call center. And so we were really pleased with the uptake in our community and the level of interaction we had, the connection we had with the Spanish-speaking population, because this is offered bilingually, and then we also have connection to interpretation for many other languages. I do just want to make another side note. I was looking at statistics from that first year and noticed that 211 was up and running in time for the first influenza pandemic of the 21st century, which was the H1N1 swine flu pandemic. And many people may not remember that. It's been overshadowed by another pandemic, but I remember very clearly that the county, and in particular Karen Smith in the health department, was back and forth with us about how can you make sure people have information about this and how we can prevent this from becoming an issue in our community. We had over 100 phone calls specifically about the H1N1 virus. So moving forward, over the years, we have continued to develop and enhance 211, and I'm going to turn this over to Kalyssa to give a little highlight of some of those features and some of the current statistics.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie, and thank you everyone for having us. I know folks, this might be the first time that some folks have heard about 211, so I think it's really important to explain that 211 is a program, but it's also a dialing code. So it's a free and confidential information and referral resource that here in Monterey County, folks can just dial 211 to get connected to. We also have texting. That's a newer feature, like Katie was mentioning, where folks can text their zip code to 898-211 and then text with a live call center specialist. And that's something I think really important to emphasize with our call feature and our texting feature, is that both of those are live people that you'll get at the other end of the line in order to really understand what needs you may have and get you connected to appropriate resources. Another feature we have that's much newer when we think about all of the services and ways that folks can access 211's information is 211montereycounty.org. This takes our entire resource directory and makes it public. So if you go to that website, you can look through all of the resources that we have available in our 211 Monterey County directory. At the click of your mouse, it's all at your hands. You can see the names of programs, the eligibility, hours of operation. And I think it's really important to note that 211 Monterey County takes the quality of our data in terms of the resources that we include very seriously. We go through an extensive annual verification process that ensures that at least one time per year, every resource is getting updated, but many resources, as there's changes and additions and just different functionality for different programs and services, we're making those updates throughout the year. But it's important to note that we strive for 100% of our resources to get updated. And at least with my time, I can verify that that has happened. And so folks might be curious, how does 211 work? What's the ways to get connected? So as I mentioned, if you go to our website, 211montereycounty.org, you can look through resources, figure out which ones best fit your needs, and then reach out to those as appropriate. But for our call and texting, you'll see that flow at the bottom of the screen. So really, folks reach out to 211, speak with that live specialist, either through call or through text, and they review the different program needs or the different programs that are available with needs and eligibility for that specific resident. So for example, if there's age requirements or sometimes programs are offered and there might be income limits, we're able to review those with the caller in order to ensure that the resources being provided to that caller are appropriate. And then the resident gets equipped with local information about those programs and services. If folks call in, we give it to them over the phone. We're also able to send them a text message with a list of all of the resources. And of course, if they're texting in, we're able to send those back to them as well. And then of course, residents can take that information, reach out to the agencies as appropriate in order to access services. As Katy mentioned, through interpretation, our calls are able to be interpreted to over 220 different languages, including Triqui and Mixteco, of course, Spanish as well, as Katy indicated, and we are open 24 hours, 7 days a week. So that means folks, whenever they need us, are more than welcome to either call or text into our call center in order to get connected with the critical resources they need. So I want to share a little bit kind of before we dig into our 2023 data about what we've seen so far with 2023 in California and the US. But even before I get to that, I think it's important to note that 211 Monterey County in our 15 years have had over 228,000 calls to our service. So those calls resulted in even more referrals, which I'll speak on a little bit later looking at 2023, but that means we've been able to get folks connected at least that many times to resources. So it's really incredible when we're thinking about the impact we've had in 15 years. I want to now share with folks our 2023 data for 211 Monterey County, but to give a little bit of context, in 211s across the United States, there were over 15.3 million contacts to call centers. For California, we had over 1,769,000 contacts to 211s. And now switching over to our local 211montereycounty.org, or 211 Monterey County, we had over, or you'll see it listed actually at the bottom of the screen, 13,737 calls and texts to our call center. And I included this graph on the left-hand side so folks can see our call volume throughout 2023. We have been able to offer a variety of different programs and services in 2023, and of course, throughout the history of 211 Monterey County. But I think most notable when we look at 2023 is our assistance with the Department of Emergency Services or Emergency Management in winter storm response. And so you'll see really high volume in the first 3 months, but even increasingly, we were actually activated for the first 6 months of 2023 to provide that support, with our top call volume day occurring in January of 2023, where we had 178 contacts to our call center. If we look at 2023 in general, of those 13,733 or 37 contacts, we had 13,301 of those were calls, and then we had 306 texts. So majority of folks, when they are reaching out to 211, they're calling us, but we still do have folks that are utilizing our text features. And then when we think about 211montereycounty.org, we had over 32,900 web searches. So folks coming onto our website and looking for a variety of different resources. And on the right-hand side, I just want to uplift what were the most pressing needs that we saw in 2023. And you'll see on the left-hand side of that table, 211 Monterey County, and then on the right, you'll see 211s across the United States. And you'll see that at least our first two needs are very consistent, with housing being 211 Monterey County's top need, followed then by utility assistance. But after that, you see definitely some differences when we think about the needs that folks are reaching out to 211 for. So in third, for 211 Monterey County, you see legal, consumer, and public safety services. Fourth, you have income support assistance, and then fifth, meals, where then that's different when we're thinking about the United States. So this just shows the different ways that folks are accessing 211 and the resources that they're looking to receive. And a number that I skipped, but I want to come back to, is this number of referrals. So that's the number of resources we were able to connect folks with through the different contacts. So the calls and the texts that they had in 2023 to our call center. So we were able to get folks connected to 18,723 different services in our community, which is really incredible when you think about the impact that those services can have in the lives of the individuals who were reaching out for them. As I mentioned, we've been able to support with a variety of different projects. And like Katy mentioned earlier, I think the most important piece of the puzzle with 211 is our strong partnerships that we have with our community partners. Of course, we're able to get folks connected, but those referrals ultimately are linking to all the great services that we have in Monterey County, and 211 is a way to help our community really navigate and get connected to the resources that are most appropriate to them. So we want to thank our partners for all the great work that they do in our community, and of course, for making sure that their information is updated with us, but just acknowledging that our service is really here to get folks connected to the services that they need. And so thank you.
Katy, do you want to give any last thoughts on that one?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. As you can see, we have evolved through the years, and I'd like to think we've really embedded ourselves in the infrastructure of how people live and work in Monterey County and how we take care of folks. And we will continue. There's all kinds of new innovations coming our way, and 211 provides a platform for us to really be responsive and continue to connect the community. So I'm sure the next 15 years will pass as quickly as the last, but I just want to thank all of the partners, and we're talking not just the county government, but our local cities are very supportive financially and otherwise, our foundations and the service providers. So this is truly an example of a collective impact. We are all pulling together over a common strategy. So thank you again for the chance to celebrate. It's been a lot of work and a huge reward and result. Thank you.
I do want to add and hope that you have another minute to talk about you guys are partners with us in so many levels, but people don't understand that 211 is embedded in our emergency operations center for the purpose of getting this critical information out to the community. And you were embedded through the pandemic. And there were a lot of questions during the pandemic. Where do I go? Where do I find this? I wonder if you could talk a little bit about how the staff had to go through the pandemic too. They had to help people find what they needed, as well as manage their own pandemic related issues.
Well, I'll just say 211 was initially set up to be health and human resources that are non-emergency, but we quickly found out that there's a huge disaster application and that it can be a very important tool with a very quickly changing scenario. I'd love Kalyssa to reflect a moment on that embedding in the county, because we really cemented that relationship, and Kalyssa can tell you more.
Yeah, thank you. So actually, fun fact, I came into 211 in June of 2020. So the pandemic had already hit, and when I came into my role, I was in collaborative meetings with then the Office of Emergency Services multiple times a day sometimes, but especially multiple times a week, just to ensure that 211 had the most accurate and current information for community residents. And we have, I think, like Katy mentioned, really been able to continue to grow that partnership. So in terms of my presence, first with the pandemic, and now, through to the winter storms of 2023, I think that it's a really strategic collaboration, especially when we think about the pressure that in times it's able to take off of emergency services when we think of 911, but providing really critical information around, it can be evacuation warnings and orders, it can be shelters, it can be just community resources that are available. Road closures was a huge concern that we had calls around in the 2023 winter storm. So it really creates another way for folks to access data, and especially when we think about the barriers that some residents may face to websites and being able to, dig in and do a bunch of research around what's going on in our community. I think 211 is especially critical in disaster spaces, while also acknowledging, and May, I think you alluded to this as well, 211, apart from the immediate disaster, we have been able to stand up programs in order to assist folks getting connected to services that they need. So that includes a partnership we had with the health department, where we were able to set up a vaccine registration assistance program through 211. So helping connect residents with vaccine appointments if they weren't able to access them on their own. And then even the emergency rental assistance program that we were able to collaborate on to get folks that application assistance so that they were able to apply to that essential benefit. So I think we've definitely in past year or most recent years seen a lot of flexibility to the services that 211 can provide, but all coming back to meeting community members' needs and meeting them where they're at in order to help them access whatever the service or information may be.
Thank you so much, both of you, for talking about 211 and sharing these fantastic accomplishments. And Kalyssa, I guess I'll see you at the next disaster.
Yes.
People don't know she was my desk mate when something happens.
Thank you, Mara.
Thank you so much.
Moving on to our next topic now, opioid overdoses continue to impact our community. You may have heard about county efforts to get Narcan further and more accessible, to be more accessible in our county. Next week, the health department is partnering up for an opioid overdose prevention and Narcan training workshop. This will be happening in Greenfield. And we're very pleased to have Sheba Sumeshwar from the health department to share a little bit about this workshop. Hi, Sheba.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm inviting everyone to come out to Greenfield. We're holding an event next Wednesday, March 6th, 6:30 to 8:00 p.m. at the Greenfield Civic Center Chambers. As you know, that the media is aware that the opioid overdose crisis is national, but the impact is local and personal. Recently in January, there was 4 overdoses in a span of 48 hours, and I believe 1 death resulted in that one. And as the opioid overdose crisis continues to evolve in the community, the health department is committed to educating and empowering community members to save lives. We're hosting this event. It's hosted by Supervisor Chris Lopez, as well as our health department, and we're inviting community members to come and learn from local experts how to identify overdose and administer Narcan medication. We know that Narcan is fast acting and can help reverse an overdose immediately. We'll have about approximately 400 units to give out to the community members. So we should have everybody covered if they show up. We also will be giving out 3 raffles. We're doing 3 raffles there, where there will be $100 gift cards donated by the Community Foundation, and we'll be raffling those 3 gift cards throughout the event. So please come learn alongside the local experts, have all your questions ready for this family-friendly event. We'll have interpretation services in Spanish, Triqui, and Mixteco will all be provided. Any questions?
Thank you, Sheba, very much for running down how the event is going to go. I wonder if you could talk a little bit. You've got some really good speakers who are going to be sharing information. What are some of the topics that they're going to cover that people can expect to learn about?
Dr. Close from Montage is coming, and she, as everybody knows, she is focused on the Prescribed Safe program. She will be doing an educational piece about what an overdose looks like, how to administer Narcan directly, and the myths about Narcan, because there seems to be the community that needs more knowledge about how to use it, what it is, what it looks like, how to store it, all of that. So she'll be there to dispel some of the myths and all that. And then we have our Dura Hope expert, Nicole Chavez, who has a lot of personal connections to drug abuse, and she can make the connection out there, provide resources out in the community in that area, and make sure we're providing any type of question and answer as well, time period where they can actually give us some questions and we can come back and answer it. We will also have tables set up from our public health unit as well for different programs in the back. And so we'll be ready to answer questions for referrals and for behavioral health services and public health services.
And then one final question, this event will be happening in Greenfield, and I think it's largely due, it could be largely due to the incidents that you described, but is there some thought, do you think, about taking these workshops on the road and trying to hit other areas?
Yes, we are looking at expanding and working closely with Dr. Close from Montage to see what should be our next location, as well as behavioral health, obviously looking at the overdose data and also where in the community we can create the impact, and bringing the translators. That's what key for us is to make sure that the languages are available and to provide that opportunity for the community to understand what all this means, and giving them knowledge and power and the Narcan while they're there.
Thank you. Sheba, thanks very much for joining us today and reminding us about this event. We hope everyone will be able to attend. Do you have someone on who wants to provide the information in Spanish?
We do. We have Anya on available. I believe she's here.
Great. Anya, go ahead. This is, for those who don't know, Anya Gutierrez, also with the Health Department.
Hi, Sheba, do you mind sharing the flyer again? Bueno, buenas tardes. Estamos aquí hoy para informarles sobre el evento que vamos a tener el 6 de marzo, de 6:30 de la tarde a 8 de la tarde en Greenfield. Queremos recalcar que la sobredosis por el uso de los opioides es una crisis a nivel nacional, pero el impacto es local y es personal. De hecho, hace relativamente poco tuvimos 4 sobredosis y lamentablemente una persona falleció. Así que el Departamento de Salud pues, está comprometido a educar a que los miembros de la comunidad sepan o tengan las medidas para poder salvar vidas relacionadas con esta crisis que sigue evolucionando en nuestra comunidad. Con el apoyo del supervisor Chris López, el Departamento de Salud invita a que los miembros de la comunidad aprendan de los expertos locales y que aprendan a identificar posibles sobredosis de los opioides y a administrar Narcan, que es un medicamento que salva vidas. También se conoce como naloxona. El Narcan es un spray nasal de acción rápida que ayuda a revertir una sobredosis de los opioides. El Departamento de Salud va a proporcionar Narcan gratis a los miembros de la comunidad. Vamos a tener unas 400 unidades de Narcan para distribuir. Y también tendremos una rifa donde la gente podrá ganar 3 tarjetas regalo de $100 que fueron donadas por la Fundación Comunitaria del Condado de Monterey. Y nada, les animamos a que vengan a aprender de los expertos locales, que obtengan respuestas de todas sus preguntas. Y también comentarles que es un evento familiar donde tendremos interpretación en español, en triqui y en mixteco. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Ina, for sharing that in Spanish for any of our Spanish language media that's there. Any questions for Sheba or Ina who could explain anything any further? I'm not seeing any in chat and not hearing any. Ladies, thank you very much for being here to remind us about this really helpful and great event that's happening in Greenfield. And we look forward to hearing more about any future workshops that you're having. All right, finally, to our last but absolutely not least of our topics. This is really a lot of fun, and I've been looking forward to this one as well. Monterey County Works, as you may know, has several cadre programs which help young adults get training and ultimately jobs in various economic sectors. A new hospitality cadre is now launching. Applications are being accepted. How do these programs help young adults entering the job market? Well, we have two people who are here to talk about that. We're very pleased to have our colleague Michael Artalejo from the job. He's a job placement coordinator with Monterey County Works. He has also brought along a Green Cadre participant, Jessica Robledo, who could talk about her experiences. Thank you both for being here.
No, thank you for having us. We do appreciate this. We do have we're using one speaker and one microphone, so hopefully we'll be able to make this happen. But again, I'm Michael Artalejo. I'm with the Monterey County Works, and I want to talk to you a little bit about our hospitality program that's in the process of launching. It's a very exciting time for us. Like mentioned, we do have multiple cohorts going on. We have one that's just started a week ago that's emphasizing training individuals on social media and what it's like to administer social media channels for local businesses and throughout Monterey County. And we have a current climate/food insecurity cohort that's going on. But in the works right now, I just want to give you a little information about our hospitality one cadre that's going to be starting. It starts on March 11th. It's open for individuals between the ages of 18 and 24 years old. And it's an opportunity for them to get a paid internship to learn the ins and outs of the hospitality sector that is prevalent here within Monterey County. We've teamed up with local hotels and restaurants so individuals can get that hotel and culinary experience. Not limited to that, we dive into event planning. What's it like to become an event planner, to work with an event planning organization and really test the waters in learning the ins and outs of those sectors there. You know, hospitality is very, very big in Monterey County, especially along the coastline. So we want to make sure that all our individuals who are interested have that opportunity. When they come to us, we'll be able to have some in-house training where we work on communication skills, discuss strategies of being able to serve a diverse clientele, you know, because we are a tourism area, and we want to be able to make sure that we are able to communicate effectively, listen actively, and give the service that's needed for you know, spectacular visits here to Monterey Bay. So we're going to go over that. We also have a certification program to get certified guest services professional by the American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institute. So that's something that our individuals will walk away with, along with a credential from the National Association of Entrepreneurship and Business Leadership. So, you know, when we talk to individuals, we let them know that we are now helping them succeed, but they're in the business of them. So what kind of tools can they put in their toolbox to get to work after these programs are done? We are accepting applications up until March 4th, planning to start our training program on March 11th. Individuals are going to work about 36 hours a week, and it is a paid internship program, so $18 an hour for those individuals, and it will go until May 17th. That's going to be our end date there. So very excited. This is our first foray into having a hospitality cadre. We're looking for success with the partnerships and the individuals that we have come to apply already. If you know of anyone who's interested, I have flyers that I can send. Also in the chat, I put down the website there that'll take individuals directly to the Monterey County Works website and the application page, the online application. And if any more information is needed, there's the phone number there, 831-708-6553. At the end of the hospitality program, along with all of the cadre programs, it's our goal to build that resume and help our participants find their next career, but not just a career, a sustainable living wage career. And that's the ultimate goal of the trainings and the purposes of these cadre programs. So we look forward to having another successful cadre. Does anyone have any questions about this current upcoming hospitality cadre before I hand it over to Jessica?
If anyone has questions, you're welcome to just ask it directly right now, or you're welcome to put it in chat. Michael, I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the certificates, because these youth who are going to sign up for this, not only are they getting paid, but they're working almost regular working hours, but they're walking away with certificates that will give them a leg up as they apply. They're going to apply in competitive application process with a lot of other people. It looks like our interns and the people in our cadre are going to have a leg up.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do. When any of these cohorts start, it's always, I pose the question, what are you going to do as an individual to put your resume at the top of the list? There's a lot of people that apply for different positions, but what's going to separate you from everyone else? And these are, these certifications and credentials are meant to be what may differentiate these individuals from others that may not have had these credentials. And some of our individuals are coming from no experience. So how do you convey that you are willing to do the job, that you're the right person for the job, and that you can do the job? And some of these credentials are essential to show that, I've successfully completed this program, start to finish. I got my credentials there showing how much I'm vested into this process. And that's the ultimate goal, is to move your resume to the top of the list there. And that's what we're trying to do.
So let's turn to Jessica and hear from someone who's in one of the cadre programs right now. Jessica is in the kind of the Green Cadre, which is climate and food insecurity. Jessica, can you talk about some of your experiences in the program, things that you've done and what you think you're going to be doing after it's over?
So some of the things that I've already done, I already got a food handler.
Jessica, can you turn down your audio? Or there's a little echo going on there.
Audio off.
There you go. Thank you. Go ahead.
We've already got our food handler certificate or license. And we also have gotten CPR certified. And we've also had.
So I'm sorry to stop you again, but we're hearing Jessica, but we're seeing Michael. So we're going to have you flip the mute, maybe. When in doubt. There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Jessica. We want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. So I've already gotten CPR certified. We have our food handler license or certificate. And we've also gotten OSHA trainings, and some of us already have gotten power tool training as well. And I'm just really enjoying my time here in the program.
Can you tell me where you were at in your life before you started the program, and what got you interested in applying?
Yeah, so I was just a stay-at-home mom. My kids would go to school, and I just would lounge around all day. And I just got tired of that. I got tired of, I'm still young and I want to do something with my life, and I want my kids to see that I'm doing something with my life, and I want to have accomplishments, and I want to be an example for my kids. So that's exactly why I joined the program. My sibling also did the program as well, so that's how I heard about it.
And so are you ready to graduate? How much time do you have left in the program? And then what do you think you're going to be doing after you graduate?
Yeah, so we're graduating in May, I believe, at the end of May. And I just want to take this experience and my certifications and see, what kind of work I can get. I told Michael, I'm just like, I really want like office work. Like, it doesn't really matter where, I just told him I like to make people happy. I like that feeling of the person walking away and they're just happy, and that's just like an accomplishment to me.
Do you feel that you're getting a direction, and this, maybe if it's a personal question, you can tell me it's too personal, but do you feel you're getting kind of a direction in and where you want to go? Because you've got a lot of parts of your life already in order. You have your children, but now you're looking for kind of a new direction and new inspiration.
Yeah, so before I used to be a caregiver, and I kind of still am with my daughter, but I would really like to do something. My dream was always to do cosmetology school, which is one of the options that they offer here in the program. You know, once you finish the program, they help you get into things like other programs, and I know cosmetology is one of them, so that's kind of in my mind right now of what I might want to do afterwards.
And Michael, you might have to switch places with her to answer, but this looks like this is going to help not only Jessica, but other participants launch into where it is that they want to go, even if it isn't, this isn't a climate change job, but it launches you into the career that you want.
We're doing the switcheroo. So yeah, Jessica and I discussed what her future looks like, and we do have more programs after the cadres are done in order to help them get into a career that they're interested in. With regards to the cadres themselves, you know, the certifications, and there's individuals that are geared towards wanting to work with the state parks, which is a big partner for us. Individuals that want to go into nonprofits after working with us, but there's others that are not sure, and you know, want a little bit of not necessarily a sense of direction, but a program that will provide them with bridging the gap between what's the next step in life. And that's what we're doing. At the end of the cadre, we make sure that our resumes are put together, and we have those one-on-one conversation. What's next for you? What do you want to do? How can we get you into those positions that you're always wanted to be in? And it starts from the very beginning of the program. You know, some of these individuals haven't been to school in a while and haven't interacted with groups, haven't been in leadership positions. So this is a time to shine and step forward. And a big part of what we do is when we're out and about in the community, because community engagement is part of our program, is, you know, how do you interact with the public? How do you market yourself? Because again, when we're in public, you're in the business of you. How do you open those doors? What is your elevator pitch that we come up with where you can have that conversation and say, you know, I'm part of this great program. It's taught me a lot of things. And, you know, I didn't know that this avenue was available to me, you know, but now that we're out in the community, my eyes are open. You know, can we open up a conversation about possibly applying for your organization or your business, and just building that confidence at the end of the day. And that's what we want. We want everyone to leave the program happy they were part of it, but also knowing that they're one step closer to their career and their dream job. And that's the support that we try and give. I let the individuals know that let us advocate for you. What we can do to help out, we're going to do it, because ultimately we want you to be the next leader in your community. We want you to live the life that you foresee for you and your family. And how do we get there together? And that's kind of what the cadre programs are all about.
Thank you, Michael. We always love to hear about the success of the cadre programs, and we're really glad that you could share what's coming up with the hospitality. And for Jessica behind you, we wish you all the best in all of your future endeavors.
As you know, as a quick side note, the last couple days, this specific cohort has been working with the Blue Zone Project and Aspire Health, and doing CalFresh and EBT surveys in South County. They were able to get 100 surveys in 2 days to help start promote the Double Up Food Bucks program that Aspire and Blue Zone projects are coming up with. So that was awesome. And Jessica stepped up big time with those interactions with those individuals. And that's one of the reasons why I asked her to be part of this today, because we had those conversations in between helping customers coming into the stores. And she talked about how she wants to make a difference and help out in cosmetology and things of that nature. But, Jessica has been a really big reason why we were able to get those 100 surveys done in the last 2 days. So I just want to make sure that she knows that and let everyone know that, at the end of May, give me a call or send me an email, because we'll have, one of many quality individuals looking for work, and Jessica's putting her name out there from the beginning. So just wanted to let you know that.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Thank you both, Michael and Jessica. Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week. We'll see you then.